Singer-songwriter Sinead O'Connor has died at 56. The gifted and troubled Irish performer was known for her shaved head and for her fierce and expressive voice. She began her musical career singing on the streets of Dublin and became a star with her 1987 debut album, The Lion and the Cobra. But her political and cultural stances and troubled private life often overshadowed her music. Sinead O'Connor obliterated the image of women in the spotlight in the late 1980s with a shaved head, stirring performances, and a mouthful of controversial opinions. Nothing compares to you. O'Connor topped the music charts in 1990 with her version of Nothing Compares to You, written by Prince. She won MTV's Video of the Year award. She earned 4 Grammy nominations for the song and the album it was on. And Rolling Stone named her Artist of the Year in 1991. But accolades and awards seemed to mean nothing compared to O'Connor's drive to provoke thought. Everywhere is war. O'Connor made headlines in October of 1992 when she tore up a photo of Pope John Paul II while appearing live on Saturday Night Live, denouncing the Catholic Church as the enemy.
Fight the real enemy.
Talented and tormented, O'Connor attempted suicide in the late 1990s. Later in life, she was public about her mental illness, saying that she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
I'm not staying alive for me. For me, if it was me, I'd be gone. Straight away back to my mom.
O'Connor posted a Facebook video in 2017 from a New Jersey motel where she had been living, saying that she was staying alive for the sake of others. When her teenage son, Shane, died by suicide in 2022, O'Connor tweeted there was no point living without him and was hospitalized soon after. No cause of death has been given. O'Connor was just 56. Joining us now is music publicist Eric Alper. Eric, first of all, our condolences to you. I understand you worked closely with Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, we worked together for her Theology album back in 2007, which was a brilliant work. And then on a number of tour dates for Canada, and talked as recently as about 6 months ago, after she was in the hospital, after the suicide of her son, talked a little bit there, spoke on text. So yeah, and I think, I think you really don't have to have worked with her to understand that this was a woman full of emotional vulnerability. She was a social activist. She was a huge advocate for LGBTQIA plus rights. She talked about mental health better and earlier than I think anybody else from my generation did. So I think this is just a sad loss all around for music fans.
O'Connor is best known for her cover of the Prince song, Nothing Compares to You, but how did she personally contribute to the music landscape?
Back in the first album, The Lion and the Cobra, back in 1990, she came out as an artist that didn't really think about sales so much. She didn't want to fit into the whole pop world of pop music. She wanted to do jazz, and she wanted to do alternative rock, and she wanted to do rap and soul and funk and reggae all together, often within the same album. And so certainly her live shows were electrifying, but she was somebody who definitely understood the word artist. And that is to be able to put into lyrics and music or a painting or in a book your true innermost thoughts, and not be worried about any criticism, not be worried about whether or not people are going to buy the album or not. But for me, and I think millions of people around the world, she was somebody who absolutely spoke the truth at all times.
She was clearly a nonconformist. How did pushing boundaries help and hurt her career?
The first time that she appeared on the Grammy Awards, she had a tattoo of Public Enemy's logo on the side of her head, because Public Enemy was not invited to perform, even though that they were up for Rap Album of the Year. So not only did she stand up for other artists, but ever since then, her ability to continue to speak out, to encourage women to break free of what society was constraining them with. She broke those traditional beauty standards of what people thought women artists should look like. She emphasized inner strength and inner beauty and self-acceptance, and it had a lasting impact on the feminist movement, even though that she struggled with all of that herself. That just made her more human to millions of people around the world that followed her. She said in her book, and she also said in the documentary, that her ripping up the photo of Pope John Paul II on Saturday Night Live was the best thing that ever happened to her career. Her doing that, with all the pressures aside, allowed her to continue to do what she wanted to do, but just a little bit away from the spotlight.
How do you think she'll be remembered?
Well, part of me as a music fan would love the fact that any of her albums are going to be played forever. And I think that's going to be true. So I think the music has to be great for all of us to talk about why we should care about her and her personal life. But I think the easy story is going to be that all of the ups and downs of her career in a very, very public profile and a very public life is going to allow those stories to be told and retold and retold. And if that's what's going to take people to get into her music, then that's what it's going to take. But I think her music still holds up. It stands up. And I will still say that she was probably the most exciting performer I've ever seen and worked with of the last 30, 35 years, hands down.
Thanks so much for joining us, Eric.
Thank you so much for having me.